What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Video number 3 today. We're going to look at Ample. The reason I'm looking at Ample is my buddy John, JC, big shout out to him. He's an Ample guy. He got, we're talking like 60 grand taken from him on the KuCoin hack, and he got some of that back today. He got a third of it back, actually. Not today, but here recently. So he's excited. He's excited about crypto again. I'm happy to have John back. I've been kind of leaving him alone. He was supposed to help me out with this channel a little bit, and I wasn't gonna bug him because he was a little upset. So kudos to John. So this is going to be a video, and I'm going to use Ample as the coin because I need a blank chart. And what I'm going to do is give you guys an introduction, 1, to TradingView, and then 2, I am going to give you an introduction to both trend lines and identifying support and resistances with just a couple simple tools. All right, so this will be a tutorial. It'll be free. It's going to be in the public Telegram group. It'll also be on my channel, public as well. So planning to get you guys a series of these to get you guys started, starting to chart more than anything. So do me a favor and like and subscribe to the video. Leave a comment. Doesn't matter what it is. It can just be, hey, thank you. It could also be get wrecked. I don't care. Just leave a comment. Helps out the YouTube algorithm. Like I said, my goal is to grow this channel as quick as I can and bring you guys valuable content. And the fastest way to do both of those things is for you guys to interact with me. So again, link to the free Telegram group is in the description below. Feel free to join. Actually, if you guys want to comment on this video and let me know if you would rather a free Telegram group or if you would rather have a free Discord group, because I think Discord might be a better alternative as not really digging the Telegram setup. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of that. So if we get enough people wanting to go to Discord, I will make a free Discord and I'll launch that by tomorrow. That said, guys, let's look at Ample. We are on the daily, okay? So this is where you're going to learn the most about TradingView here. Is we're going to show you how to set it up. So first things first, once you get onto TradingView, you're going to click charts and go to the chart. This is going to be where you find the coin. So I'm just going to put in Ample. And you can see it gives you all of the Ample options, right? And if we put Ampleforth in here, it'll take out some of those stock options, and then you can see all of the crypto exchanges that are available to you. If you know that you're going to use one, like let's say you're going to use KuCoin, you can type KuCoin, and you can see Ample right there, and then you can put Ample, and it will give you all of the pairings. Ample, Ethereum, USDT, and Bitcoin. I'm going to use USDT today. So that is the coin we're going to work with, and then your time frames are up here. So these are your time frames. You can star them so that you have quick links to them. So you can always star your favorite time frames. And that way it's just quicker for you. And whatever time frames you select are the ones that you like and kind of fall in love with. So then once you get that, you have your candles here. So each one of these candles represent whatever time frame you've selected. So we're on the daily. So every candle is 1 day. You can tell which ones are going up and down by just clicking on them right here. And then you can go in and you can say, okay, I want my rising candles to be white or green, and I want my falling candles to be red. If you don't like the back of this being white, because that will be the default, you can go to appearance. You can do your background. You can change it so that there's no vertical lines, because before you have things like this in horizontal lines. I like a very clean chart. I like a black background. It's just my preference. You can change it to whatever you want. You're going to want to stay with whatever's comfortable for you. Now, as far as settings go, you can also favorite tools up here as well. We can favorite the times right here, if you recall, and change them up. Like we can go to a 4-hour, right? And then you can hit the auto right here. And we're going to stick with linear, not log scale. So we are going to use linear scale. You can click log, and all it does is makes it so that everything is basically in one shot here for you. But then you're measuring by percentages and not actual moves. So we're going to stick to linear, even though it does require a little extra work to get to the price. I just prefer to chart in linear. Okay. So from there, guys, you've got this little toolbar right here, and all that is you have the tools over here as well. Go ahead and explore those. I'm not going to go through each individual one because there are tons of them, but I will tell you, you'll spend a lot of time in this first one here, and you've got a magnet tool here. The magnet, what it's doing is it is allowing you to grab like a horizontal ray and then put it exactly at the top or the body candle closer, body candle here, or the exact wick. It gives you really precise and accurate, so you're not sitting there trying to line it up yourself. I am going to change the color of this to white because I was using it earlier for different settings. So I'm going to change it to white so it's easier to see. So you just double click it, or if you do this, you can hit the settings button right here. You can change that, and you can change the text. Coordinates of it, if you need to change the coordinates. Visibility, I don't really mess with, okay? So you can star those just like you star your time frames, and then from there you can create like a little toolbar that is everything you like to use. Now indicators, there's a ton of indicators on TradingView. The main ones you're going to use are like pivot points. You're going to use, and so if you come to here, you'll see like pivot points. You can put in pivot, and I have pivot points standard starred. If you click on those, these will be really useful on something like Ample with not as much history. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the historical ones. So we double click it, right? We've got show labels, and I'm going to change this to gold because the pivot is important. Then you've got support and resistance levels here that are identified by whatever formula it's using. I will tell you that I don't use this tool too much, but if you're a beginner trader, this actually might be useful to you, especially when in terms of support and resistance. I'm going to change it up to Fibonacci. That's just the one that I learned to. And then you've got your time frame here on auto. You can change it to the daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. I will make a different video on the pivot points to go over how those are generated and what time frames those are going with. So right now we are on the 4 hour, so you have weekly pivots. These are generated once a week. All right, so you can see that they are well respected. All right, so you can see that it's come up, it's rejected off R3, come all the way back down to R2, may just oscillate inside of here. So these are derived from averages. So it's one of those things where they're a really good beginner tool. I would definitely hit the star button next to the pivot point standard. And then you'll have things like the RSI. You just have to put in RSI, the MACD, little tools like that to get you going, okay? But we're going to focus on horizontal levels of resistance and trend lines today. So hopefully you guys are following along and this isn't too fast of a review or a walkthrough, but I do want to jump into the price action fairly quickly and get you guys rolling. So we are going to use this tool right here today, the trend line tool, and we're going to use the horizontal ray tool quite a bit. Okay, so those are the two tools that you're going to want to have. And what I like to do is I like to start on the higher time frames first. And so this one doesn't have a lot of history, but we are going to go to the monthly. Okay, I'm going to hit auto again, and you can see that you've got this one giant scam wick. So you're going to have to scroll right here and zoom in, and you can see that the monthly on this usually wouldn't be very relevant because there's not as much history, but we do have some relevance here. That's why we still look at the monthly. All right, so we are going to use our favorite tool here, the horizontal ray, right up here off of our toolbar. You can see that now we can select the color, we can select the thickness, we can even select dotted or dashed lines here. You can make this however you want. I prefer just a solid line. My thickness is the least one. I like my charts to be fairly clean. So you can see that we have a level here. All right, this is a level. And why is it? Because traders settled up here on a monthly basis. You can see that we also settled up right here on a monthly basis, okay? And so what I like to do with these is I like to go to style and I pick a color. In this instance, we'll use white for monthly just because it's already up there and convenient. And we're going to type monthly here in the text, and you'll see that it does appear right there. Now, a really quick tip is that if you guys like doing that, you can go ahead and just click the horizontal array that you just created, come over here, and you'll see that this says clone or copy. We are going to clone it, and then we are just going to move it right here with the magnet, and it goes right to where we want it to. We just touch it, and it goes. And so now we've got a monthly. And so when we identify the next monthly, we're just going to hit clone, and up we go. And you can see that right here, 4 months in a row. This would be a quarterly level, more than likely. So if we went to a 3-month chart, because you can go out that far, yeah, you've got a really nice quarterly level here and a quarterly level here. So I'm actually going to change the names of these and the color now. I'm going to change them to yellow, and I'm going to change it to a quarterly. You can change the color of the font if you want to. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes I like to leave it slightly different. That way it sticks out. And we're going to go back to style and change the line color to yellow because that lets you know that these are a little more important just because of the higher time frame, okay? So back to the monthly. It looks like we've got one monthly level and two quarterly levels as of right now. And I forgot to change this to yellow, mess that up. And I guess now we'll make this one the same. So already messing up for you guys, but hopefully you're following along and you aren't confused. I'm going to make this pretty simple. I really don't see any other monthly levels that I feel the need to map out. Let's go to a weekly. So now we're working down to a weekly time frame. And you can see we have a weekly level right here, and it's pretty relevant actually. So if we come over here and we go to there, let's go ahead and use blue, and we'll use weekly. Let's leave the text white since we are on the text page, and then we'll go to style and change this over to blue. Right? So we know we have some resistance there. Okay? Let's go ahead and see if we have any other weekly resistances and supports that we need to be aware of. It looks like we have one up here. Oops. So we have a weekly there. And we've got quite a few weeklies on this one. And we've got a weekly here, which is nice because you can see you settled up not only here, but you actually settled up over here as well. So you can see we've settled up on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So this is a big level. This is important. Sometimes if a weekly I feel like is more important than another weekly because there's a lot of price action on it, or like a quarterly, I will change up the thickness of the line. You can do that. It's really your preference. I'm not going to do it on this one. A lot of times I'll just remember, especially if it's a coin that I trade a lot. I don't trade this coin, so this is all kind of new to me. You guys are just getting a free breakdown on how I would be looking at this coin in particular. All right. So you do have a weekly down here, but it really is right by your quarterly level. So I am going to mark it off just because if it ever revisits these all-time lows, I know that with this quarterly and weekly down below, that's probably a pretty solid buy, and I would more than likely be going heavy there unless there was something truly concerning about the project or I thought it was a dead coin, which you never know, could happen. And you can start to kind of see how price is shaping up now that we're marking these levels out, and see that they're really well respected. And so the reason we're using candle bodies, and you can use the peaks if you want, but the bodies are far, far more telling in this because that's where traders settled up over a long period of time, a month, a whole quarter, a week. And then we'll get down to dailies, which will be another lower level. Let's see. Let's put this one on here and see if it is something I like. You know, I think I do like this one because you've got this level here, you've got it settling up here, a couple weeks here, and you can see we're launching off of it here. Yeah, I would just leave it there, and not to overcomplicate it because you could probably pick out a few more. You could pick this one out if you wanted to, but that would really be the last one that I put on there just because you don't want a clunky chart. Clunky charts they get messy and it's just not very fun. And you know, I'm one of those things where I'm one of those people where I would prefer a cleaner chart versus a messy chart if possible. So yeah, there's this guy there's one right here for sure. And where was our other one? Well, I think we may have reached our max here. Was it right here? I think this was it. This is more of an art than a science, if you recall. So I'm going to get rid of this one just because I feel like this weekly gets it. You know, we don't need weeklies that close to each other. So now let's go down to a daily. And you can see we now have our pivot points back up because weekly will bear yearly pivots. And I don't know that we have enough data for that on this. So let's see if we have any daily levels. You can see that the daily here would be a daily normally, but it's a weekly in this instance. We don't need to mark this daily because, again, the weekly is so close. You may have a daily level right here in between, right around the S2. And it coincides with this low. Let's see how this looks right here. And let's pick our daily color, excuse me. I usually make these something like red. You know, it's the color, one of my least favorite colors. and I would deem this as the weakest support. So the higher the time frame, the stronger the support or resistance. Lower the time frame, stronger the resistance. And I will apologize in advance. I am colorblind, and so I do tend to botch up some of these colors, but I've been using TradingView for quite a while now, so I know pretty much where everything is on the color swatch. So pretty excited about that. So go me. You could probably move this up a little bit. Let's see here. And yeah, you know what? I think I would. I'd move this one up. It front runs the S2 just a little bit. This S2 will change, but I like that daily level there. And then let's see if we have any daily levels up here to keep in mind. We have that quarterly level, and then you do have this daily coming in right here. I would probably front run this a little bit. So let's do a daily up there as well. So again, click, copy. That way everything is exactly how we need it. And let's move around. Let's see. Yeah, that gets our daily level pretty good. And last but not least, there's one at the very top, the tippy top. This is your last level of resistance here before the all-time high wick. I assume all-time high. I guess you still have that thing over there. I'm not going to mark this one out, mainly because it's just so far away from price action, you know, even though actually, you know what, that's what we're running into. So maybe we will mark it out. We'll do one more daily. And then you guys feel free to copy these levels onto your chart if you want. You should find them pretty well respected. This is using no Fibonacci tools. This is using nothing but the horizontal ray. Okay. Now from here that we have these all mapped out, let's go down to like a 4 hour and let's hit auto. And let's look how well respected these levels are. So you have now set your chart up for success. You can see that you've got weekly levels here. You've got I think this is a weekly level. Do I not have weekly marked in there? Let's make sure we patch that as a weekly. You've got your dailies. You can see how well respected it is even on the low time frames, especially on the low time frames. And this is where you're going to take longs and shorts based on these levels, based on the analysis that you have made. So from here, guys, you can see that we have a really nice uptrend. So it is making a low, high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, and another higher high. And so with a basic trend line, you can come into right here. You'll hit this and you'll hit the favorite tool, right? We've got our magnet on still, so you can see it's going straight to it. We're going to go ahead and do this. And you see how it stops right there. So go ahead and double click it. We're going to go to style and we're going to hit extend right. And so now you've got a very nice straight diagonal. Okay. If you're ever trying to draw a trend line like this and you just want a straight trend line, use the horizontal ray. If that's not an option because you just need to have the absolute trend line like this and you can't seem to get it completely straight, hold down the shift key before you click and it'll go completely straight. So like right here, you can see now that it's completely straight. So kind of neat. Just to give you guys a heads up on how that works. You can see that you've deviated away from this trend line, or you'll hear me refer to it as a demand line. So this is your demand line. This is where buyers are coming into the market. And people will often try to buy these. Now, I will tell you that trend lines are, in my opinion, the weakest form of technical analysis available. So does that mean that they are invalid and don't work? No, that doesn't mean that. It just means they're very subjective and that horizontal levels will typically work better. And you can see that right here. These are really, really well respected levels. So you really want to focus on the horizontal levels first. Trend lines can come second. Typically we use those to identify one, a quick demand line, or two, a pattern if you are a pattern trader, which some people are and some are not. Now, drawing trend lines here, you can see that this actually had more of a horizontal resistance here, that when we broke through this weekly, it's off to the races. We are now coming up to the daily in the R3. But your first trend line could have been this peak right here, and we could have just projected it to this peak, and you can see that you were rejected here and here, and then finally broke through, had a bit of a throwback, got back through. Let's turn on our volume. You can always search for it up here on the FX, recall your volume, and you can see that your breakout volume did not come in on this. So this was a fake out. But then what happened on the throwback and the buyback in on the higher low? Here is your breakout volume confirming the trend. You can either buy in this and know that it could come back, but what you did was you established your supply line, and once it was broken, we'll use our brush right here. So once you broke it, came back, you got the volume confirmation you needed, right? And then what did it do? It came all the way back to your trend line that you've drawn, your supply line, previous area of resistance, and look at the wick buy up, okay? So again, the wick was bought up because this is where most of the trading happened in the body candle. This right here was where the candle opened. I guess we should cover that. The candle opened right here, came down, and then was bought up, and then it went positive, okay? Had it gone up first and then came down and closed down here, it would look more like this candle where it moved up and then was sold into and actually closed down for the day, or the 4-hour candle. In this instance, it came down, found more buyers, found the retest, so to speak, and support resistance flip. So when you break through a support, you'll do one of these, right? You'll get through it and then it'll come back, and a lot of times it will back test this level for confirmation. And if that holds, usually that's a pretty good sign that you're going to get continuation to the upside. So that is my really fast breakdown of TradingView, really fast breakdown of how to identify levels on Ample, and I just identified a lot of them for you. You guys can go ahead and copy these onto your chart. Feel free to stop the video and screenshot it, or if you want, maybe do it yourself. There is a link to TradingView down below. So the link to TradingView is a referral link. It does help me out as a YouTuber. It helps me get a free TradingView account. That's really it. They don't pay me anything else. I'm not associated with them in any other way. Last thing I'll leave you with is this is your settings tool right here, okay? And then if you want to use this right here and get familiar with it, you see this thing, it's called the new object tree. We're gonna go ahead and click it. See how it opens up? And these are horizontal rays, okay? So these are your levels. You can go in here and change the name of these if you want to, or you can right click and then you could go to add or create a group of drawings, and we've created group 1. We're gonna click it, and then it's going to let us rename it, and we're just going to put levels, right? And you can see that first one that we right-clicked is now in there, and then you can just drag them in there. And you can rename the horizontal rays dailies, you can name them weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies accordingly, and that way, guys, you've got all your levels in one area, and you can do this with all your tools. Okay, so now everything is in one area, and I can go like this, and if I want to clean my chart up and start over, I can just click the hide button right here, and they go away. And when I want to get them again, all I have to do is come back to my object tree, open it up, and turn on my levels. Or I can go in here, I can turn them all off, and then I can find the one I want and individually turn it on. It's up to you. Same with your pivot points. You'll notice you have a button right here, down. You can come right here to pivot points, hit the hide button, and off it goes. If you want them back, right there. Or you can cancel them all together. Okay, and then if you wanted to get them back, now that they're on our favorites list, you just find it on your favorites list, pivot point standard, click it, and you notice your settings weren't saved. So go in, redo your settings. We're going to go to Fibonacci, right? We're going to go over to style. We're going to change up the pivot. You don't have to change the colors. This is just how I like to do it. You can change the thickness down below as well if you want. You can make them thicker. If you prefer, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go over to default and you're going to say save as default. And now when I get rid of it and turn it back on, it should reflect my new settings. You can do that with all the indicators. That way you guys aren't having to redo this every time. It's going to save you a bunch of time. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this walkthrough and the overlook on Ample. Gave you guys some key areas for both downside and upside that you guys can start looking at right away. Feel free to post your charts in the Telegram chat, or hopefully maybe the new Discord if that seems to be the direction people want to go. And I will look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. We are going to cover probably Fibonacci. I think it's just a quick introduction on how to use Fibonacci, how to pull it, what the levels mean, and we'll go from there. Bye, guys.